Welcome to the Healthspan Collective, the podcast where science and wellness converge. I'm Nicole Doran, and I'm thrilled to have you join us as we dive into the world of regenerative medicine, integrative health, and the latest science and trends shaping how we live healthier for longer. Today, we had one of my favorite guests, Iliriana Balaj, founder of Live Healthillie and Integrative Nutritionist, helping people live their healthiest lives, diet and stress-free. We covered so much on today's episode, everything from holistic fertility journeys to non-toxic products. I learned so much, and I think you are really going to enjoy it. Iliriana Balaj, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, we made it.
We finally made it. I am so excited to have you here today.
I know, I'm so hyped right now.
Are you?
Yeah, I really am.
Okay, good. Because I have so many questions. I was just telling you, usually I'm able to just flow, but I have so many specifics for you that I just cannot wait to get into.
Yeah, let's get specific. Let's go.
Yeah. So you kind of specialize in deciphering between what is really non-toxic as opposed to what is just greenwashing. Would you say that's an accurate description of your brand?
Yeah, totally. That's how I started, because I was like most people, I don't know, what do I buy? What do I get? What's actually healthy? Do I trust these labels? I had no freaking clue.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started getting into sharing the difference between something that would be greenwashing versus something that's actually good for me, actually healthy, and has the claims that it says it does.
Right. So what even brought you into this health journey? I know, most of the people I talk to and that I interact with at Pureform, there's usually some sort of personal experience that brings you into the world of wellness. Is that the case for you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I find this to be such a common story. All my friends who are naturopaths or acupuncturists or just wellness, just people in general, we all started with this horrible story of at least for me, I was always really fit. I've always been in sports my whole life. I've always just been on the skinnier side. So I was always able to eat whatever I wanted and do whatever I wanted my whole life. And as a personal trainer, that caught up with me pretty quickly, because once I was 20, 21, I ended up forming really bad cystic acne. I was always chronically bloated. After anything I ate, even if it was water, I was just my stomach was 8 months pregnant. I had really bad eczema on my face. I would literally be able to peel off if I put makeup on, peel it off. It was so bad. Chronic migraines. I had more than 15 migraines a month. So I was always popping Tylenols and ibuprofen, and just I had to be in a dark room all the time. So I really struggled with my health, and I remember going to my primary care doctor, and they ran kind of basic blood work, and they're everything looks fine. So they sent me off to a couple specialists. So I remember going to a neurologist for my migraines, because they're what if it's something deeper?
Right.
And they were nope, you're fine. Everything looks normal. And as much as you're okay, thank God, you're then why am I dealing with all this? I'm so young, you know? I went to, of course, gynecologists, endocrinologists, dermatologists, GI doctors, the whole nine. And the wake up call for me, because my whole family's in the medical field. So this was the normal route, alternative medicine wasn't a thing,
Mm-hmm.
So it was the weirdest thing for me. And the wake up call for me was going into all these different doctors' offices, being told that everything was normal, but leaving with a prescription. And that was really odd to me, because I'm if everything is normal, why are you giving me medicine? Because isn't medicine supposed to cure something? That was always my logic, now I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm this makes sense to me that if I'm sick, you get medicine.
Right.
But if I'm not sick and you don't know what's wrong with me and everything's coming back normal, why are you just trying to shove medicine down my throat? This was very weird. I got sent home with Percocets. They were trying to get me on Accutane. And I'm so young at this point, stool softeners. I'm what am I, 80 years old? What is going on? All these things to kind of help with my symptoms, but not really figuring out, okay, what is actually going on. And there was no deeper testing. They were just so eager to leave me after a 15-minute conversation, be oh yeah, you need painkillers for the rest of your life,
Right.
So after that, of course, I had to kind of go against my own biases, being a personal trainer and counting all my macros and thinking I'm this like really healthy individual and just kind of
Yeah.
stopping myself in the face and being like, I'm not as healthy as I thought I was. It wasn't just about being fit and having abs. Like, how is my body actually functioning? You know, am I getting extra minerals in my diet? All these things. And I started also looking at my supplements, which a lot of people think that should be helping you, but a lot of supplements on the market are full of artificial ingredients, artificial flavors, artificial dyes, artificial sweeteners
Right.
that are just contributing to all these issues that I'm having, from gut issues to energy problems. So that was really what I started sharing on my page. And it was like the wake up call that I needed. So once I kind of started swapping out all of these things slowly but surely, a lot of my symptoms alleviated. I didn't have migraines anymore. My gut health was so much better. And I was able to still maintain the physique that I wanted, just in a much healthier way.
Wow. Okay, so you're 23 years old, you're a personal trainer, and did you look the way that you really wanted to, or did you feel like the health concerns you were dealing with were also inhibiting like the outward Illy as well?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I had a problem with was my acne, but my body
Right.
was like, I was at like peak physique. Like, I was
Really?
modeling at the time. I was trying to do
Wow.
like bodybuilding competitions. Like, I didn't even go that far because my migraines got so bad, like even during like early training.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is clearly not for me. Like, I don't want to do that. But I was still pursuing like bodybuilding 4 or 5 times a week and just counting my macros and like hitting my protein goals, which everyone tells you like that's all you need to do is hit your protein goals. So I was doing all the things and taking all the supplements like the multivitamin, the greens powder, and the protein powder, and the pre-workout. So I was doing everything. But yeah, like the only thing, it's funny because I was dealing with, the painful periods and the eczema and all that stuff. And the only thing that really made me dig deeper was having chronic acne, because I'm like, oh, it's just so ugly. And that was the marker that I was like, okay, now it's enough. I'll deal with the migraines, but not the acne,
Isn't that, it's like such an unfortunate truth, I feel like, especially for like a lot of us women. Like I feel similarly. So I have PCOS, right? I had a ton of symptoms. I was so fatigued. I would get headaches. The list is endless of all the ways I felt unwell, but my weight was the biggest thing that, like, because it played such a factor in my confidence. Like, that was always like the main driving factor of like, I want to learn how to heal myself because I just want to lose weight.
And that's like it's one thing for people a lot of the time, and then for many, we don't even realize the correlations of the two. Like, I never thought like my migraines and my eczema and my acne were connected. I always just thought, and that's why you go to like separate people for everything, and you just never realize the correlation that when you start healing, it's like a domino effect. Like, you start to just feel better in all aspects of your life, but sometimes it just takes that one thing. Like, for me, it was like acne. I was like, whatever, I'll deal with like being hunched over in pain every period that I have, but like, I don't want another pimple, like, so my priorities,
But I think it's all like, it's the way the universe works sometimes. It's like it knows what it'll get you to where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So you start posting about your journey and everything you're learning on socials. At what point does Live Healthily become an idea?
Yeah. So a couple years in, as I'm like sharing kind of like myths about the supplement industry, and there's so many brands coming out every single day. I mean, even back then I thought it was a lot, and now it's just like insane. Like, every day it's something new. But I was really just sharing like easy swaps that people could make at their grocery store, whether it was the foods that they were eating, or it was just like supplements where people are like, is this actually healthy? Is this protein powder actually good for me? It's claiming that it's going to help me lose weight, and it's a meal replacement, all these things. So I really was helping people make those distinctions and learn for themselves. And I started to notice a lot of brands were like, oh, like, we want her approval. Like, she looks like she knows what she's talking about. We want her approval. So I started to kind of get like a couple affiliate links here and there. And I noticed that the biggest pain point for a lot of people was a kind of a couple things, but one was like, I don't know where to shop for all of these things. My supermarket doesn't have these things, these brands that you are approving. Or like, I'll like the protein powder from one company, but then I have to go buy my shampoo somewhere else. Like, this is a lot. This is becoming expensive. And that's usually what people say when they start to swap to like a more non-toxic lifestyle. It's like, it's just so expensive and it's like so annoying, like looking for everything. And I'm like, okay, well, if the brands trust me and the people who follow me trust me, then wouldn't this make sense if I tried to do something where I can put all of these great brands in one place? So I remember getting like laid off during COVID. I worked for like a travel company. I was like, nobody's traveling. They're like, bye. So I kind of took that opportunity to get my health coaching certification.
Oh, okay.
And then my husband was kind of like looking for a new job, but he didn't really know what he wanted to do. He went to school for business, but he wasn't really doing that. And he's like, I don't even know what kind of business I would start. So we're kind of like brainstorming ideas, and we both kind of came up with the idea of Live Healthily, where we just want to make clean living simplified. And we started housing all of these brands like in our guest bedroom. So we started with like 15 products from like 5 or 6 different brands, from like non-toxic candles or like protein powder without artificial sweeteners and things. And we sold out within like a day.
Wow.
And then we had to get new stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, and then for me, it was like a lot of my friends and family like trying to support us. And I was like, okay, maybe this is just like, I don't know, like my friends are just trying to support me. Like that's all cute and dandy. And then now we've been here 4 years later and people are still like obsessed with us. We've had over like 75,000 orders. Just people have been obsessed with this whole idea where you can buy all of these different brands from all these different companies all in one place, whether it's like I'm looking for a shampoo that I like, or skincare, or protein powder, or candles that are non-toxic, or fragrances, like, and then of course supplements that are all approved by me. And it just makes it easier for people. They don't have to stress about it. And and then on top of that, you know, today people think like Amazon is like the one-stop shop, but recently they found out that like over almost 70% of supplements on Amazon are all counterfeit. That they're not even
the
real.
craziest thing.
Imagine getting like a fish oil and it's just like a rancid oil that they just lie on the label. They don't even have to say it.
I know.
Who's regulating it, you know? So
I know.
that's scary. So those are pretty much how we got started with Live Healthily, and it's been great ever since. And then obviously we have had so many opportunities since then to like create a product and do events and just connect with all these amazing brands nearby, because you start to find all these different entrepreneurs even in the area that are all doing like just like really cool stuff. So that's pretty much how I started, and we've helped so many people. We get comments all the time of how just it's been so much easier for people to just get that stress, because obviously I believe the root of like every illness is really just that stress factor, and not just emotional, but just like the stress of having to find things that you like that actually work, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. I send your site to so many people, like of my friends, my mom's friends, because it's like, you know, a lot of my friends, like we're in the same like age range, and it's like a lot of my friends are starting to think about their hormone health. They're getting off birth control. They want to get pregnant soon. Or they're starting to deal with just health symptoms that they had never dealt with before. And it can be so overwhelming. And the same thing for my mom's age bracket of friends. They're going through menopause, and same thing. Like there's all these things that they want to do to be able to support themselves, but it can be so overwhelming. So I love, like I send your site to people all the time, because I'm like, okay, you don't need to throw out everything in your house overnight.
It took me years.
Yeah, it
like
takes.
I'm like, when did I start? Like 2019 to now, and like it's still like there's things that I'm finding, like especially with makeup's a little hard, because I love finding, I was always like a makeup junkie, so I'm like, I want something that is like clean but also is going to stay on my face, good, you know, like
and looks good.
I've used a lot of like clean makeup that
does
my god
work,
so I'm still like, just last week I think like one of the last things I was looking for was like a clean lip liner, and I'm like, I finally found it like 8 years later, finally. But yeah, it takes time, you know, and people think you're like watching me in real time at this moment, but people didn't see me like in 2018, 2019, like trying to figure it out, you know, like I didn't know, I took a lot of the wrong supplements and I had no idea, and I was using a lot of shampoo that I thought was clean that wasn't. Like there's so much trial and error. So, and it doesn't stop at any age. Like my mom, her friends, she works at a hospital, so like her coworkers are always like, oh, where do we shop? And like they love it because it's easier for them. You're working a freaking 9 to 5. You don't want to be a scientist from 5 to 9, you know?
Right.
You want to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah. And for so many people, it's like like, thank God for you. You loved doing this so much that you wanted to make content about it. For other people, yeah, it's just not their passion, but they do care. They want to treat their bodies and their families well. So to have a resource like your site to be able to go on and just know anything on here is definitely a much better solution than whatever I'm going to buy on Amazon or at Publix or wherever they're typically shopping. Sure. And yeah, it's just, as you run out of one product, rather than replacing it with the traditional brand, have a look at the ingredients, think about a cleaner option. It's just like one product at a time.
Yeah, literally. Or like one, like for me, it was like my cleaning products first, because I noticed that was like a trigger for me. Yeah. Because there's like so much fragrance in cleaning products, like more so than like shampoo or other things. Like it has to mask like dirt and all that stuff. So I think cleaning products was one of the first things I started with like physical products. Because there's like so much, like my mom would use so much bleach and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I'm getting a headache. And I would just think I don't even know. I never even thought the correlation, like doesn't everyone get a headache with bleach? But no, it affects you, So I remember getting rid of like all my cleaning products first, and I invested in that, and then slowly moved my way through like my skincare, because, I had acne at the time. So I wanted skincare that wasn't going to just be like, okay, I'm just slathering like a couple of oils on my face. Like I wanted effective, like still using like the stronger stuff, but without all the extra unnecessary preservatives and fragrance. Like I don't need those things in my products.
Yeah. And for anyone not watching right now, your skin is flawless.
Oh, thank you.
So how long did it take for that to get from where you were having chronic eczema and acne to where you feel like, I mean, from my perspective, it's flawless, but did it take years, or was it like a few months before you felt like, oh, my skin is actually looking really good now?
I mean, there was so much trial and error with my acne, because I ended up getting like off hormonal birth control, which like triggered everything, because I just didn't have like a good game plan. I just wanted to get off so badly when I was like 23. Yeah. So I got off without like a game plan, which I could have mitigated a lot of stress if I actually had, a plan to like support my liver and get all those minerals that I was missing that birth control depletes. But it took me probably like getting off of birth control probably within like a year of just like really getting everything. And that was like trial and error, like today I feel like a lot of people that I talk to are able to mitigate that a lot by just having more of a plan and being like, okay, cool, the next 3 months I'm really going to focus on, supporting my liver and cleaning out my toxic stuff and doing those things and focusing on like blood sugar balance, like all those like stressors in life. And it can definitely happen in a much shorter time frame for a lot of people. But for me, it probably took like a year with like the eczema, and like I had, when I tell you like the most painful deep acne, like it wouldn't even come to the surface. Like it was like just cystic. It was so deep and so painful. I remember like I couldn't even sleep like on certain sides of my face if I had like a big one forming. So it was like really bad. Like I had some crazy hormonal stuff going on. But I think it's obviously different from person to person. Also like how much discipline you have. Like those early days, I was so disciplined compared to now, where I can be a little bit more lenient because I understand my body more. Yeah. But people, like, one thing I will say that a lot of people don't like when I say, but like you can't really have it all if you are struggling. Like you can't have those cheat days that you think you're going to have. If you're really struggling, your body's so out of balance, it needs to start feeling safe again. Yeah. And you need to kind of put yourself in a little bit of a bubble to get that safety again, so you can, come out of it and start to have those like that enjoyment again, because it's so hard on those early days, like trying to figure out like, okay, what's causing my acne, and your livers are like so burdened with all the stress that we have in our life. Yeah. So all those things matter. And so I was much more strict, but in hindsight, it was worth it because it's such a short amount of time that I had to do that, where now I'm like, cool, I can walk through the laundry section and not have a, pounding migraine the way that I used to, because my body was so much more sensitive back then and overburdened.
So what did being really strict look like? Did that look like not even like walking into certain stores that have aggressive fragrances, or like paint us the picture of your bubble?
Yeah. So I cut down a lot of the style of working out that I was doing, because I was realizing that was just like exacerbating like all these issues that I was having. Like I was just tanking my cortisol, and my body was just in fight or flight constantly.
Were you doing a lot of HIIT or what were you doing?
I mean, bodybuilding is like, so you're low calorie and then you're like high intensity, which is just like you're setting your like metabolic up for shit, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing is I got rid of every single supplement that I had. I wasn't even taking a multivitamin. I was so concerned with things not being like the proper dosage for me. Like I had no idea. Like at that time I couldn't even afford blood work.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to like cause any more issues by just taking random shit that I didn't even know if I needed, you know? But that was again like out of just like fear for me because I just didn't know. Like today I always tell people the first thing you should do if you're struggling with hormonal problems is like go get blood work. Like go figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
So you can actually tailor your supplements properly.
Yeah.
That at that time I was young and just blind to all of it. I didn't even know that was an option. Like you can literally get blood work for acne or blood work for, you know, just overall mineral deficiencies. Like I had no clue. Also it was like, no, I was only eating whole foods, which I still eat whole foods today.
Right.
But I'm not afraid of like eating out every now and then at like a better place. Like I love True Food and like all the Pura Vida, like all these like better places. But back then I was like, I was going to like a diner on the weekend because I'd go get drunk with my friends.
Yeah.
I gave up alcohol. So I've been alcohol free for 4 years, 5 years actually. So I gave it up completely. That was like harder than I thought it would be because I didn't think I was like.
That's hard.
You don't, I mean, I was like a social drinker.
Yeah.
So,
like even when you're not like, like a drinker, like it's just, I don't know.
Like I was at my wedding and I didn't drink and people were like, not even at your wedding. And I'm like, no, like, I don't know. I just like, I made this commitment and it wasn't serving me. And I was like, to be honest, like looking back at my wedding, I was so present and I didn't wake up feeling like a groggy mess. Like I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I got to wake up and actually enjoy my venue the day after with like my husband. It was like such a beautiful thing. I wasn't like babysitting a hangover for the next 3-4 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like gave up alcohol. I like really dialed in eating way more variety of foods because like when you bodybuild or when you're worrying about calories, you're just looking at the protein content. Where now I'm looking at like I'm no longer consuming low fat and low sugar everything. Like I need to fuel my body. I need to get in more fiber and fat and real fruit sugar, which I was so afraid of back then.
Yeah. It is like a whole like mind, like you have to like literally repair your relationship with food, wouldn't you? Like I've done certain diets like that they were led by like bodybuilder style professionals, and it actually like takes a while to like get back. Like I'll notice now, I'm like, oh wow, at a certain time, like I was literally thinking like, oh, I can't eat that apple because it has, you know, however many grams of sugar. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy.
I know people, it's so ingrained in like our American diet culture. Because to this day, I get so many DMs of people being like, oh my God, well, it doesn't have so many calories and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, getting calories from something that just has high protein and no other nutrients versus getting something that maybe doesn't have 45 grams of protein, but at least has like fiber and fat and like other things is going to be better for your satiating hormones, better for your blood sugar, better for your metabolism, your brain health, like everything else that your body needs to function. And we've gotten so afraid of like fat that we think fat makes us fat when fat is literally what we need to absorb vitamins and minerals and what our brain needs to literally function. Like everyone has brain fog these days. Everybody lacks energy. And like the way that I look at food today is like food is energy. I'm not looking at it as something to pleasure me, you know, and once you get rid of that idea that food is meant to pleasure you, I'm not saying all my food tastes like freaking cardboard. Right. I have, if you look at my meals, you wouldn't even know. Like I just had, you know, organic grass-fed lasagna and like it was amazing. And like I have a lot of soups and I have burgers and fries and all of these things. But once you start looking at food as like this is an energy thing, you realize people with the worst energy are people that are having things that are low calorie, low sugar, low fat, low everything. And it's like, well, where's the energy coming from? No wonder you need energy drinks and 20 cups of coffee a day. And no wonder you wake up feeling so lethargic. Like we're afraid of all of these things. Like we're meant to eat full fat dairy. We're meant to eat, you know, sugar from fruits that nature provides us. Like this is, you know, this is what we need. This is why like people who do like long distance running, you need honey, right? To get you through the run, because that is literally energy.
You need glucose,
Exactly. So those are all really important things. And we have people who are overfed and undernourished. And this is exactly what's happening, is we're consuming so many low calorie foods because they're high in protein, and this is how they're marketed, and they're filled with pretty much no other nutrients. And then we wonder why our metabolisms are tanking, our thyroid isn't functioning, our hair is falling out, you know, our nails are brittle, like our fertility is going to the tank, you know, all these different things are happening. And I try to get people to just focus on real food versus focusing on strictly the label and what the label is telling you. Like, the best foods don't have labels.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think the point of food for pleasure is like such an important factor to like almost double click on for a second too, because I think that comes from a restricting.
Yeah.
Like being so like, I have to eat this certain way with these certain macros or these certain calories and all these things, and then I'll splurge.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat the donut or the whatever. And it's like, that's where this like yin yang or this like yo-yo comes from, where it's like, well, I have to eat that sometimes. And it's like, I feel like when you start eating a whole food diet, like, you're not like laying awake at night dreaming of your next cheat meal because you're properly nourished.
Like, food doesn't consume you. Like, it's funny because I get comments all the time. People like, you're restricting yourself. You only eat whole foods. I'm like, I have ice cream, I have French fries, I have burgers. It's just not the worst option out there. Like, I don't need to go to McDonald's.
I was just about to say, you're just not going to McDonald's,
burger, you know, like, I'll have a burger at home and it's just fine. And I get that, you know, and it's part of a healthy diet. It really is. And people are so confused because we're so used to like almond mom culture with like Jenny Craig and like all these like crazy diets that people had. I'm like, no, this is not it. We're not like getting points for calories, like this ridiculousness. And those people really feel the worst. I see it all the time, like retired, you know, ex almond moms who are like, I have this horrible relationship with food where eating real food scares me because now I'm told that fat is bad and sugar is bad, and this is what I learned my whole life.
Right.
And I'm like, just eat the real food. Like,
I know.
You'll be okay. Like, there's so many amazing recipes. I make cookies. I just made cinnamon rolls the other night. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, I eat all these amazing things, and it's just with much better ingredients, you know, that are actually, my body's going to use that as information, and it's going to use that sugar, and it's going to use the carbs and use the protein, all these other things, and the fat to literally help my body just feel alive and function, you know?
And you, like, after you do this for a long time, like, there is typically an adjustment period, especially most people have gut issues, especially when they're looking to get into this kind of thing. And I just did a TikTok about this a little bit ago, that like, there is typically a transition period where when you're starting, you do kind of just have to lay out like a plan for yourself and say, you know, even like for me, I wasn't eating breakfast for a really long time. And I had to start, you know, not necessarily force myself, but I had to say like, okay, I'm prepping like healthy whole food breakfasts for myself. I'm going to eat them by 10:30 a.m. And then I got my body in the routine of it, and now it craves it. And now I'm in this place where my body craves what it needs at the different times of my cycle, depending on the workout that I do, you know, all the factors that come into what plays in your metabolic health. But, you know, it's like, I feel like sometimes there's this period of like, you just need to like create a plan for yourself and follow it. But you're working towards a goal where you can be very intuitive and you can say, I'm craving red meat today. Let's have red meat for dinner, right? Yeah. And like you'll know what your body is craving based on like the cues it sends you.
Yeah, and like your taste buds change too. Like, I remember before my period, every time, obviously most women will crave chocolate, right? Because it's like high in magnesium, and from an evolutionary standpoint, like we're going to crave certain things, and that's what we should, you know, reach for. But I'd always grab like a whole row of Oreos, and I would just binge on Oreos before my period. And then I'm like, I wonder why I have painful, horrible periods. Is like, I'm not giving my body nutrients, and your caloric intake just in your luteal phase goes up by a lot. You know, your body's craving more nutrients, more carbs, more, you know, healthy fats.
Yep.
And so I always try to shift my diet, and like I have such a, you know, great relationship now with my body where I'm like, I'm okay eating a little like that more so that I have a healthier period and I have a healthier cycle. Because I always tell people, like, your period is your report card. If you have horrible periods and, you know, you're manic every time you get your period and your emotions are all over the place, that's a really good sign something hormonally is really off. So what are we doing to nurture that 2-week window right before we're getting our period, and just like understanding the flow of that. And we're not going to be afraid of having those extra calories, right? Because if you're going by a caloric diet and like you're counting everything, you're literally restricting your body and you're restricting the nutrients that it needs. So it's like, if you know your body's cravings and what they mean, right? I'm not saying never to have chocolate. I love a nice dark chocolate,
and I'm sure you
and I do, like don't get me wrong, I'm a freaking chocolate lover. Like that's my kryptonite. I love chocolate. I'm like such a sweets person, but I also understand like, cool, I'm gonna up my supplemental magnesium, I'm gonna up my fat, and if I'm still craving, like having those, you know, intense cravings for chocolate, I'm gonna just satisfy that with just a healthier alternative. Like sometimes I'll make cookies, sometimes, you know, and I'll prep that for myself, so I'm not like grabbing the worst option going to the supermarket, you know? So it's just about knowing. And that's why like I'm so against calorie diets and like intuitive eating in the way that a lot of people say. It's like, well, everything in moderation and like everything is a chemical and like all these things. And it's like moderation is just, for me, it's like a version of self-sabotage. It's like we tell people we can have things moderately because we know having it often is bad for you. So why are we settling for every now and then? And then also, like, are we listening to ourselves? Because sometimes even that one drink that we have, or that one burger, or like greasy burger that we're getting from McDonald's, if you have an autoimmune condition or something, that is going to send you off for the next 2 weeks. And now you're babysitting that temporary satisfaction because somebody told you, well, everything in moderation, you know, like there's never been a time in the past at least 2 years, because now I eat like mainly whole food diet, like minimally processed whole foods, where I have to like babysit a bad decision, you know, especially being an entrepreneur, I'm like, I always have to be on. That's why like drinking, like not drinking is very important to me, because it's like I always want to be locked into my work and the things that I do. But especially for like, I'm not going to go on a binge on the weekend and be like, I'm going to have McDonald's and Wendy's. Like, no, because I know I'm going to feel like shit. So why would I do that to myself? It's like going back to an ex that you know is like not good for you. Like, why would we do that? You know?
Yeah. And the longer you go without it, the less, the more you're like, oh, why would I do that?
Don't come back, you know? So
totally. But you do. So like when you say like you'll prep cookies for yourself, like is everything like, are you doing like almond flour and coconut sugar, or like will you do like I buy like the Sweet Loren?
I love Sweet Lorens.
So
I'm not like, I'm not
like...
Betty Crocker. I'm not making everything from scratch like Nara Smith out here. Like, I'm like, I got my mango from my... No. Like I definitely like, I do a combination of like minimally processed, which are things that you can find in containers, but the ingredients are found from like, you can actually find the ingredients are all listed out for you, and it's things that you could recognize for the most part, right? So I definitely do a lot of stuff like that. Like I'll make myself chia seed pudding because it's like high in fat and great fiber, and so I'll do stuff like that. Like I just try to like get around things that I know are going to come for me like during that 2-week cycle, so I'm not like ravenous, because you get into like that snacking habit, which it's like, I love a little, like I'll literally make myself like a mini charcuterie board. So I'll put like, you know, the meat there. So I have my protein, and I'll have my, you know, carbs. So I have like a couple Simple Mills crackers there. I put a couple fruit, some nuts, you know, like I'm giving myself the best. So it's like, I'm all for the luteal phase charcuterie boards.
Yeah, I love that. I do the same thing. Like I'll know like, okay, luteal phase, I'll include like a carb in my lunch. Like usually I feel best when I'm not in my luteal phase. I feel best just doing like a veggie and a protein, and then just like a starch at dinner. But luteal phase, I include some in my lunch, because I know if not, I'm going to start feeling like tired.
Like,
and
why am I so hungry?
And like,
it's
why,
like,
you get that
calories,
like,
girl, you know,
why am I suddenly craving, you know, cookies that I haven't eaten in 3 years at 3 p.m. And it's like, because your body needs some sugar, it needs some carbs, it needs some energy.
Exactly.
So will you eat dairy?
Yeah, so I used to be, I don't know if I was lactose intolerant, but I used to be
Okay.
very, like, reacted super poorly to dairy and gluten, actually. And I went off of it for a couple years, worked with my functional practitioner. I had like a little bit of inflammation going on, did a lot of gut healing, got more diversity in
Mm-hmm.
my just gut microbiome. So I was consuming way more colorful foods, more fermented foods. And that's when I introduced like kefir. So
Yeah.
I started doing that, and that was like very like dairy, but it's like gut nourishing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this feels good for me. I'm going
Okay.
to keep doing this. And then I was able to eventually introduce dairy. So now I consume like high quality grass fed A2 dairy
Love
for
it.
the most part. I'll have like a protein shake here and there, and I'll do like a full thing of dairy, so it doesn't bother me anymore. And the same thing with gluten. Like, I'm not a big bread person, so I feel like I always tell people I'm like kind of naturally gluten free because I don't know, I don't really get attracted to bread much. I'm not
Oh,
like a, I don't know, it's something,
yeah.
I don't know. I used to be such a bread junkie, but now a lot of my friends make sourdough, so I'm like, is it just that, like I like sourdough bread. I'm obsessed with it now. Like, I'll make focaccia from scratch, sourdough. My friends will
Yeah.
make sourdough. So yeah, so I'm not like 100% gluten free anymore, but it was more out of like, that's just kind of what you're told to do. But also, like,
Yeah.
my gut wasn't in a place to like optimally digest it really well. Obviously, if you're celiac, different
Different story.
situation,
Right.
but I was able to get tested. I didn't have celiac. I had like slight inflammation. So once I lowered that inflammation with my doctor, I was able to consume like way more variety. Like, I used to
Right.
be allergic to a lot of weird random things. And it
Yeah.
was all just like your gut isn't just as resilient as it should be. You should be able
Right.
to digest most things.
Yeah. Yeah. I talk about that a lot because I am gluten free. My husband is actually always like, "Are we just gonna live like this forever?" And I'm like,
Please
"No,
don't
I
tell me.
promise." Like, I'm working hard on my gut health to like
Yeah.
rebuild. Like, I think I had a lot of like leaky gut and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I
And
had. I had like leaky gut, H. pylori. I just had like super gut imbalances and stuff. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, I did a whole GI map where I'm working on it so
Yeah.
that in a couple of years I can introduce something like homemade sourdough
Yeah.
and like, I'm still not gonna reach for like Wonder Bread.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the stuff I was eating. And I'm like, oh, I need to go gluten free.
Right.
And like a lot of things, what today, with especially like kind of we were talking about with like greenwashing, a lot of things are marketed gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is with gluten free bread specifically is that it kind of crumbles apart,
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
just whatever. So a lot of like gluten free brands, they'll just like pack it with all these gums, like these synthetic
I
gums.
know.
And
Yeah.
like if you think about gum, like literally think about chewing gum, it's meant to have things stick together.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that are consuming a lot of these gluten free alternatives, they end up getting really, really constipated because think about everything sticking together in your stomach.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, well, I went gluten free and my gut issues aren't going away. It's like, look how many gums you're consuming because it's in yogurt. It's in like these dairy free milks. It's in, these gluten free breads, and you're
Yep.
consuming so much of it. Like, I'm not afraid of all gums. Some of them are good for your gut health. Like acacia gum is a prebiotic fiber. But there's a lot of these gums that they're being put synthetically into our breads and our yogurts and our dairy-free milks. And people are like, my gut problems are like still here, and I'm gluten-free and I'm dairy-free. And it's like,
Yeah.
hello, we
Right.
have to read the label and really see what you're
Right.
consuming, because we're not like, you're not, milking almond. You're getting the water and you're mixing it. You have to add all these things to have that same consistency as milk.
Right, 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 right. It comes back to the whole foods. It's like, yeah, I remember when the vegan craze became a thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever went vegan,
No,
but
thankfully. I think I just would
I'm
have
happy for
died.
you. Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
I
I'm
was
happy
already
for you
like,
because I feel like there's so much gut healing that needs to be done from people. I was never like fully vegan, at least not for a long time, but I was pretty plant-based and
yeah.
it's hard on your
I
gut.
think everyone's gone like a little more plant-based, and it's like,
Yeah.
that was a craze for a while,
Yeah.
and now it's like carnivore. Like, we've gone
Yeah,
the
yeah.
completely opposite. Not that I'm like a whole like against carnivore, but I'm like, can we not tell people that vegetables are a problem? Like,
Exactly. It just
because
comes back to like the villainizing certain
yeah,
foods. And that's what, yes, it was like a few years ago, we were villainizing meats. And then, but even whether it's now with the carnivore or then with the vegan, it's still like, just focus on the whole foods in front of you. Like
that's it.
even if you're vegan, it's like, okay, same thing with my husband. He's like, I bought gluten-free pasta for you. And I'm like, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. And I'm looking at the ingredients. And I'm like, I really don't want to eat like, corn flour and all these gums and all these things.
That are
I'm
super
like,
harsh on your stomach anyway. Yeah. And you're like trying to heal it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there are pastas that are just like brown rice flour and water. Great.
Perfect.
Like something like that.
The chickpea pastas that are like coming. Yeah. Just so much better.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like the red lentil pastas. I love that kind of stuff. But yeah, just in general, it's like you can make all these rules, but the gluten-free Oreos are still not good for somebody who needs to be gluten-free because it's a gut issue. Like it's all a gut issue.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like really focusing on the quality of your food versus like demonizing everything. Like it's so funny because people are like, you demonize foods. I'm like, I demonize like food, like what people think is food.
Non-food
yeah,
foods.
Like non-food. Like I don't
chemicals.
consider like an Oreo a food.
Right.
Like I'm not, don't put an Oreo on my plate. I'm just going to cut it with a fork and knife, like that's not a food to me. It's just unfortunately shit that's just made in a laboratory that they convinced us like this is a cookie and you're going to enjoy it. Where it's like, I've had so many amazing meals without needing all the unnecessary junk. Like having a cookie with like corn syrup is not my idea of a good time.
No. So what does movement look like for you nowadays? Because obviously you used to do more of like a bodybuilding style workout routine. Obviously you're not doing that anymore. What does feel good for you nowadays?
I mean, I definitely still strength train, just not as intensely. Like before I was trying to like hit PRs all the time. And I just love just lower impact Pilates or Legree. I just think for women, it's important to mitigate as much stress as we possibly can. And like, although physical stress is kind of like a quote unquote good kind of stress, it can be abused.
Yeah.
So, that's why like high intensity workouts, and you're trying to hit that high intensity again in your 2-week window of, about to get your period, not really a good idea. Your body wants to slow down.
Right.
So I think the Pilates craze has helped a lot of women with their metabolism, because women are like, I'm going out of this fight or flight of like always trying to hit a PR and like strength train and like throw shit over my head. And now I'm able to do Pilates throughout the month, and I'm actually losing weight doing less. And it's just safer for our metabolisms. It's safer for our bodies. So yeah, I like love Pilates. I think it's great. Legree is obviously a little bit more intense if you're kind of like used to that. So I would do something like a mixture of like Pilates and traditional strength training. It's really important for women to build muscle, not just lose weight, because as we get older, most people die from falls, so breaking bones, and you never get up again,
Literally. So happy to hear you say that, because I'm such a believer in that too.
I have to strength train. Like Pilates is like great in like body movement, but incorporating some sort of resistance and lifting weights and focusing especially on like grip strength is a really big marker for longevity. And as you lose your grip strength, you're just losing your overall like strength in general. So it's really important to be able to like hang, for a period of time. I think on the Mel Robbins podcast, like every woman should be able to do 11 push-ups, So immediately heard that, I'm like, let me start doing my push-ups every morning, because like those are basic things that we're never in a position where we're doing that, where we're on the floor and pushing our own body weight. You should be able to at least hold your own body weight, hold a plank, do a push-up, like basic things for women, because we want to be able to live like healthy lives throughout our 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah. No, I talk about it all the time, especially at Pure Form. A lot of our patients who are coming in for like stem cell therapies and things like that are older.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can do all the fancy stuff in the world. You can be on all the best supplements known to man. You could spend literally billions of dollars on your health per year. If you're not strength training, like you're doing yourself a massive disservice, because it's exactly that. The downfall of a majority of people's health as they age is they start with a fall. And then they break a bone, and it's like you just need your you need your muscle mass to hold your skeleton up and to be able to literally act as a barrier and protection for your bones. And also the more you strength train, like the better your bone health will be.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's so important.
So I was like doing strictly Pilates for a while, and I started transitioning back into like strength and Pilates. So I'm like, and also like muscle is ideal and needed for blood sugar balance, you know? So, and so many women are struggling now with insulin resistance and just blood sugar problems in general. Like just because you don't like have PCOS doesn't mean you can't struggle with your insulin.
Right.
And you're not stressing your body in that way. Like that's another form of stress that I talk about a lot is, you know, you have to be able to build muscle. You have to balance your blood sugar, you know, like these are really important things for women's health.
No, they're so important. Like you said, it's, you know, even if you haven't been given a PCOS diagnosis, we know, you know, struggling with fertility is becoming an epidemic.
Yeah.
And having balanced blood sugar is so important for your hormone health, which it obviously leads to your fertility. What are some things, I know you talk a lot about fertility. Yeah. What are some things you like to do to support your fertility besides the stuff we've already been talking about?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing I had to get my mind out of was not consuming fat. Fat is probably one of the most overlooked fertility tips.
Yeah.
And so many women are so afraid of consuming fat, but you literally need fat for optimal absorption. Like if you're taking a prenatal or any of these things, and the fat that you're consuming is so important. Like if you're not eating seafood regularly and you're not consuming, you know, a high quality, you know, omega that, you know, hopefully it hasn't gone rancid, like something super high quality. Right. I do the Body Bio PC, which is like super great for protecting your cell membrane, you know, so it isn't going to be, you know, damaged by a lot of this oxidative stress that we're
phosphatidylcholine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
So good.
I mean, the texture is like a honey texture, so it's very weird. It's not for everybody.
Okay.
But very like niche supplement for fertility. So yeah, that's like really important is consuming more fat. And the second thing is really just being an advocate for yourself. I think so many women, like the fertility system in general is honestly so messed up. They pretty much they tell you if you're older than 30, like you're a goner. Like that's pretty much your experience. Like if you're over 30, no shot you're having kids, you're screwed. But we're seeing infertility even in women in their 20s.
Right.
So why aren't we giving that same, you know, blame and shame to women in their 20s that are also dealing with infertility? So that's like another thing is like advocating for yourself. Just because you're older doesn't necessarily mean that you are shit out of luck to have children. And also I'm a big believer that unexplained infertility is not a real diagnosis. It's just a lazy doctor. If your doctor tells you, oh, we have no idea why you're infertile or why you're not conceiving, and they haven't ran, you know, an optimal Dutch hormone test. They haven't ran a GI map. They haven't ran a heavy metal analysis on you. They haven't ran inflammation markers on you.
Yeah.
You don't have unexplained infertility. And also if you struggle with any sort of blood sugar problem, you and your partner, you don't have unexplained infertility. You have a blood sugar problem, which is really a big factor for fertility. So like I see women all the time that come to me and they're like, I'm on like my 4th or 5th round of IVF. And I'm like, if it was as simple as getting that sperm to that egg, IVF would be 100% successful.
Right.
So why isn't it? And they're like, oh, well, there could be this and it could be that. So it's like, why aren't you testing for these things? Why aren't you testing for inflammation markers for both partners?
No, it is so crazy.
You know, women are spending thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to have a baby. And it's over and over and over again where their doctors are doing nothing different in between sessions. Yeah. You're just poking and prodding women over and over again without doing any further testing. And there's so much like preconception prep that can be done. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't even run it. I remember going to my OBGYN. They wouldn't even run any of the testing that I wanted to do because you have to have at least 3 miscarriages or a year of infertility for them to do any type of additional testing. But then we tell women,
I am like mind blown.
Yeah.
Right
and
now.
Then they tell women, oh, you're not getting pregnant because you're stressed. But at the same time, you have to go through 3 traumatic miscarriages just to have anyone listen to you. It's literally, it blew my mind. It blew my absolute mind. So yeah, it's crazy. It's so ass backwards. That's why I'm like such a big proponent for, like, I'm always telling people, like, these are the labs you should be doing. If your doctor's not running them, find a new doctor. Your doctor works
come
for
to
you.
Pureform.
Come to Pureform. Get your freaking testing done. Get your metabolic health checked. like, and even the testing I mentioned is like scraping the surface of the
Totally.
amount of testing that they should be doing if you
Totally.
are struggling to conceive. Because from an evolutionary standpoint, women, like, our bodies are always going to want to have babies. That's like literally
Yeah.
why we have a reproductive system, right?
Literally.
So if our bodies are not doing that, there is a reason why. And as somebody
Yeah.
who has like been trying to conceive for a while, this was like such a wake up call for me, because I had to literally thank my body for not getting pregnant under suboptimal conditions. And a lot of people, obviously, as much as you want to start a family and as much as you want a baby, and I'm not like saying, oh, people want a baby more than I do or vice versa, but it's like having that reality with yourself that, and this could be applied to really like any condition. Like if you're even struggling to lose weight, like there's a reason your body is holding on to that weight, and you need to figure out why. It's not just like, you know, the world hates you, God hates you, you know, like those emotions come up, especially when you're going through like struggling to conceive and all these things. I had to say, hey, my body's telling me something really, really important right now. And I'm not in a place right now where I feel comfortable forcing that.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't. And I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but at this moment, I don't feel that way because, and
meaning
thankfully,
like IVF, right?
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
don't feel right now. And it's funny because that was definitely an option that I was highly considering back in January. I was like, let me do one more test with my functional doctor.
Okay.
Because when I went into my fertility clinic, they were like, oh, like everything looks healthy. Your tubes are open. You have an 8+ uterus. You have plenty of sperm to work with. Like, we're good. We're ready to go.
Right.
And as much as I wanted like a baby right at that moment, I was like, let me do one more test because I'm just really curious. So I ran another test with my functional practitioner.
Which one? Do you mind if I ask?
So I did a full Dutch.
Yeah.
And I did a full blood panel, like everything, checking all my, like my leptin, my prolactin, my mineral balance,
Good.
my, like literally everything.
Okay.
So I did all full thyroid panel, which they don't even run a full thyroid panel at a fertility clinic. Isn't that crazy? That should be a crime. So I ran it.
My eyes are like popping out of my head with this
No,
whole
it's crazy.
conversation.
I could have done a whole episode just on this, but I thank God I did it because I found out that I actually have low leptin, and low leptin is not checked on in any fertility clinics. It's usually not even checked on like in general. It's not even part of the thing because it's your satiating hormone. So it's like, why would you check your satiating hormone for fertility?
It's all freaking related.
It's literally all connected. My body is
Yeah.
literally telling me we don't even have enough energy to conceive. So why would I force that? I'd probably have a higher risk of miscarriage even if I did IUI or IVF because my body doesn't have the energy. So now I'm working on energy production. And how do you work on that? A higher fat diet, putting your body back into a parasympathetic state versus a fight or flight state, like all of these other things that now I actually have a game plan that I can work towards that my fertility clinic failed to tell me about. I did it through my functional doctor and just like my own, you know, inquisitive nature, because I'm like, I feel like there's something else that we haven't checked. And this is, I'm somebody, I've done every freaking GI map, all the things like before we even started trying, and everything was like A+, because, you know, I really take care of my health. But yeah, these are like, I just want women to just understand that there's so many other options for fertility than just going to a fertility clinic, checking your tubes, checking your sperm, and checking like 2 hormones.
No, it really is. It's like, it's, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, like it's literally the reason I wanted to start Pure Form.
Yeah.
Was because I had a similar journey. I haven't ventured down the, you know, the trying to conceive path yet. It's around the corner. But when I was younger, going through PCOS, it was a similar journey. It was just like, okay, yep, I see some fibroids on your uterus or on your ovaries. So we're just going to put you on birth control and metformin.
Yep.
And it was like, thankfully, my parents are like avid researchers. Like we weren't in this business at all at the time. And they were just doing research, and they were like, can you test all of these things? And it was a full thyroid panel, a full hormone panel, like
which should
testing,
be basic.
Which should be so basic.
You're spending $40,000 to go to an IVF clinic, and they test 4 things.
And it is like you just said, it's like like your thyroid hormones affect your sex hormones, your hunger hormones, like you're just saying, affect all of it. Like it is all one.
If your body
symphony.
thinks it's in famine,
right?
You're not eating enough. You're not getting enough fat in your diet. You know, like. And that was like years of me thinking, because I was a bodybuilder for so long, years of thinking that like fat is the bad guy. And like I consume even now like full fat dairy and full fat Greek yogurt and I have salmon and whatever, but it's like, it still wasn't enough for me. Also like being an entrepreneur, I'm just like, go, go, go. So it's like really sitting down and prioritizing that, where it's like, I mean, obviously this is the harder way, right? Like the long way, but I know my metabolism is going to be better off for it. I'm probably going to have a much easier pregnancy and postpartum because my metabolism is in a such better place, you know? So it's like, you're just improving and optimizing everything, where for them, they're looking at, cool, is your uterus open? Does he have sperm? Perfect. Let's put 2 and 2 together and let's just keep trying that until it works. And we're hurting so many women, not just financially, not just emotionally, but like from a physical level, because it really is so damaging to pump your body with that many hormones over and over and over again, expecting different results. So just like with an open mind, anyone listening to this, like if you aren't conceiving, and this is like what helped me, is like, look at it as a signal and not just like a punishment, you know?
I
like,
love that.
It really was such an eye-opener to me. And this is somebody who's been like at it for a year. And it took me a year to get answers because I thought it was a punishment until I really found power in it. And I'm like, why would I want to get pregnant if my body doesn't have the energy for it? Why would I want a horrible pregnancy and a horrible postpartum? You know, like, why would I want all those things? Like, I want my child to come into such a like a healthful mother, you know, and I need to fucking step it up, you know, like in the easiest terms, you know, I really need to step it up. So I'm glad that I went through everything, because now I can educate so many other women. Like, I've really just turned this journey into something just more powerful and helping women really change their perspective. Like, don't look at those negative pregnancy tests as easy. I know. And like, I've gone through it. It fucking sucks. I know. But just don't look at it as like it's a punishment. Look at it to dig deeper and dive deeper, because there is a reason, and that reason is going to be probably so shocking to you.
I love that. I love that message so much. On the stress piece, you did launch a product recently, Minerals and Chill. Tell me what inspired you to do that.
Oh my God, me, myself, and I, like my stress. So a couple years ago, I always thought I had high cortisol, because I've always just been like a go, go, go kind of person. And I was really struggling with like fatigue, and I'm not a coffee drinker. So I was just like,
I was going to say, do you do caffeine at all or no?
I do caffeine now, like in a very just like in a better way, right? Like I'll have it after I eat, or like it's like organic. I'm not like big on coffee. I'm more of like a matcha. So I'll have like a matcha every now and then, but I'm not a big caffeine drinker. But back then I was doing energy drinks, and I always needed like pre-workout to like get my day going, or I'd have coffee, like, or just something first thing in the morning. So I remember I was like, I have such bad energy right now. So I went to my functional doctor, and she was like, oh, you have like HPA axis dysfunction. I'm like, what the heck is that? And it's your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands. And they all communicate together from your adrenals, which are above your kidneys, to your brain. And they all communicate, and they produce your cortisol and your adrenaline.
And you found that in a Dutch test, right?
I found that, throughout, do like a full Dutch complete. And I was like, she's like, it's technically called like adrenal fatigue, but that's not like a real diagnosis. So it's HPA axis dysfunction. And what I thought was my high cortisol was actually extremely low. So I was waking up in the morning, and I just felt like I didn't even sleep at all. Like, I was getting a full 8 hours, but I was just exhausted. I needed a cup of coffee or like an energy drink in the middle of the day. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I remember her telling me like, you need to consume like adrenal cocktails. So I remember her giving me a supplement for it, and I was like, this tastes absolutely awful, but it was helping me, you know? So I was like, but I could not get it down for the life of me. Like, it literally tasted disgusting. It was just like very clinical kind of supplement powder, put it in water, mix it. It was like clumpy and gross. I was like, okay, I don't think I can do this, but I want the benefits. So I ended up just wanting to create it and make it a little bit more mainstream. And that's like how Minerals and Chill came. So the base is vitamin C. The highest concentration of vitamin C is in your adrenal glands. So every time you have a stress response, whether it's physical, emotional, you know, like whatever it is, your body uses up vitamin C and other minerals like magnesium, sodium, potassium to create cortisol. And this is happening at such a fast level. Most people aren't consuming enough vitamin C at all. So over time, all these stress responses that you're having, because you can't, you know, mitigate your stress response well, and you don't have like a real plan, you're not maybe meditating, or you're very easily irritated, so everything stresses you out. Your body will kind of not have enough to grab from to create the stress response. So that's how you eventually go from high cortisol to very low cortisol over time. So a lot of people were like, oh my God, I'm always so stressed. you're eventually tanking it. You don't have those
Right.
those
'Cause
nutrients. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
You were stressing yourself out. It was high for a long time, and then you just deplete.
and your body like has no more to grab from. You know, if you're
Right.
trying to build a house and you ran out of bricks,
Right.
you can't build the house anymore.
Yeah, you're
So
pouring,
that's exactly
trying to pour from an empty cup, and then to add to the whole hormone, your cortisol is stealing from your progesterone.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
Yeah, and this is why also like getting your like if you have low progesterone, goes back to stress. Like there is a real thing when they say, you know, like, oh, you're not getting pregnant because you're stressed, because like cortisol literally steals your fertility hormone pretty much. So that was a big thing. So yeah, the vitamin C factor was big for me because I noticed a lot of like cortisol balancing supplements are all like to lower your cortisol, and I'm like, we're all freaking zombies now at this point if we're just trying to lower our cortisol,
especially after the years of Soul Cycle and
exactly
bodybuilding.
I'm like, I don't need more of this. So
Yeah.
minerals and chill, the base that's vitamin C, and then it has sodium, potassium, and then magnesium malate, which helps with fatigue. And the whole idea is, you know, we're trying to become more resilient. And how do we become more resilient? We give our body the proper nourishment that it needs versus trying to stop the cortisol, because we need it to wake up. We need to have a healthy stress response. Like when things happen, you know, we have to exercise, which is a healthy stress response. We have to do all these things. So we want to fuel the adrenals so that we can produce the optimal cortisol that we need. And our adrenals are not stealing from other parts of our body. It has all the, you know, the fuel's in the tank, you know, so we have that. So that's essentially why I created it, off of just like having a really nasty one that I tried, but it worked, and wanting something that was a little bit more mainstream, because I was like, everybody needs this. Like, why is this just in a clinical setting? Like, everybody should consume this, and it should just be like a casual drink that you can have with your friends, and it just tastes really good and helps with your adrenals, you know?
Yeah, I give it to everybody. I have it in the office here. I gave my mom
I love
some.
it. It's really so good. I'm like, like the taste was really
You're like, I
important
crushed
to me.
it.
I'm like, I crushed that, thank you.
And like you said, you work with your husband. How is that? How are you guys?
Oh my God.
Has it just been
It's
bliss
fun
from
now.
day one?
at the beginning, it was really hard because like we weren't sure what our roles were.
Okay.
And now that I'm like at the forefront and I get all the brands and I do like a lot of the marketing and I have like the brand vision of like where we want to go, what we want to be, and like our brand voice and stuff. And he handles all the like everything behind the scenes. Like he is just like, the brand would not be what it is today if he didn't like I'd have to hire somebody like, you know, and he just does it all, and he
does like
it all.
the logistics.
Oh my God,
and the back
everything.
end.
Yeah. Like all the ordering, like I find the brand, he orders it. So like everything that's on there, he even does customer service. And it's funny when people think it's me, they're like, you're so nice. I'm like, that's my husband. Like he's the
so
sweetest.
nice.
Yeah. He's so nice. And then, yeah, so it was hard at first. Like I remember also like trying to figure out like, when do we talk about, you know, business, and like, because it's like, it's an interesting business too, because it's a wellness business and we use like every product that we have and we live and breathe wellness. And then you come home and you're just like talking about your business because it's like part of your life. And then it's well, when do we talk about things that we actually like? And I was like, wait, what do I like anyway? Because this is like my entire life. So for a while we were like,
life.
Yeah.
I'm like, who am I?
Yeah. What do I like outside of supplements and skincare? Yeah. So that was like really hard to navigate. I remember at the beginning it was like, dude, we need to do things outside of like work. Like what else do we do? You know? So now we've had to really like structure time and find like date nights that don't involve talking about work, which is very hard, because then I'm like, let's talk about like things that require me spending money, and he hates that. So I'm like, where do we find this balance? But it's fine. Like it's nice because we trust each other so much. Like I don't have to worry about him. He doesn't have to worry about me. Like we could just get to do what we love, and like that's the dream, you know? So when we do have a family, it's like all part of it, you know? I think it's a beautiful thing. So definitely a learning curve, but it's fun now.
It
4 years later.
I do get like, it does makes me happy when because we work together too.
Yeah.
And it does make me happy when people say like having kids, like expanding your family will be a breeze for you guys. If you've run a business together.
Yeah,
like,
everything's together, you know, like you don't have to, you know, worry about like shifts and you're just doing everything together. Like make kids part of your life. And I remember my mom like bringing me to work and stuff every now and then. They like work different shifts. So I have to like sit there quietly on the thing, like while waiting for my dad at the train station and stuff, you know, it's just, like it's so much easier when you're doing things together, and there's like a flow and you trust each other, and you're both entrepreneurs. So there's like a level of respect and like, you truly feel like 50-50 when it comes to like your roles that you play. And I feel like that just will transcend into, you know, when you have children too, you know? I don't know, that's my logic. I don't know. We'll see when I get
we'll
there.
see when we actually
like
have
strangling
kids,
each other. Like,
yeah.
I need a break. You need a break. Yeah, craziness.
I know. I'm like, we'll definitely need a little bit more support, just like in all areas.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, but that's great. I love that you guys are able to separate. That's been the key for us
Yes.
too. Like separating roles, knowing whose responsibility is what, trusting each other.
Yeah. I think it would be harder if we had the same role,
Yeah.
you know, like if we were both the influencer or both the health
Right.
coach or we were both the like handling logistics, then we'd probably like battle.
Right.
But since we don't and it's very clear cut, I feel like it's very chill and it's done a lot, like even just like for our relationship in general, you know, like there's just such a profound respect that we have for one another and like the roles that we
really
play
bonds
you know, we're
right?
like, we freaking built this. Like,
Yeah.
this is, you know, this is fun. You know,
Yeah.
this is cool.
It's cool. Yeah, it is. And to be able to like hit milestones and like,
Yeah, because you share it together and it's just like that much more
sweeter.
fun. Yeah. But I think I remember like people saying like it's such a bad idea to get into business with, you know, family and friends. And I'm like, that's all I have. Like my brother is our warehouse manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother's my warehouse manager. So he packs like all of our orders, handles all of our inventory. And then like two of my like closest friends are our like marketing team. So it's
I
just
love
like,
that.
yeah, we're like very family friendly, like all of us together. And it's great, you know, because you know that these are people that like love you outside of what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I have yet to actually have to be like, not that I'm not a boss, but I don't have to be like, you know, like we're all just like working cohesively. So that's better too.
Passionate about it.
Yeah.
It makes
and they
a really big
know it's like
difference.
we walk the walk, we talk the talk, like we're all in the wellness space. So it was like very easy. So yeah, like I have yet to just be like very like, I don't know, like boss like, I don't even know what that is, but I'm just like very chill. Like they're just my friends. So I see them like on the weekends and I see them during the week. I'm like, oh, hey, cool. Did you get that thing done? Awesome. Cool. Like move on to the next, you know, like it's very chill. So we have a very chill environment right now. We'll see later on how it goes, but for now it's great. And
I'm
I love
happy
it.
for you. Enjoy
Thanks.
it. But like, it's all your energy, you know? It's like, it really does. It trickles down from the top. So if you're in control of your energy, and it's so like, it's everything we're saying. It's, you know, the vibe and mood that you bring to your life and your business is what you'll get back in your health and in everything, and the way that other people treat you and your business. So
yeah, that's so important to just make sure that in your real life, like I work so hard on my wellness in my real life that it's like I just want my work to just be an extension of that, you know? And I think that should be, you know, everybody's goal, like to try to have something where work isn't like the worst part of your day, you know, to really find ways to make the best of it and, you know, just really take care of your wellness outside of like work is stressful, like, especially being an entrepreneur. Like people think I'm like la-di-da. No, I'm like ripping my hair out most of the time because like shit never goes the way that you want it to, you know, but I have to prioritize my wellness outside of that. Like I can't let work destroy me, you know?
Yeah. And how do you handle, because you are like, you have a big following. Did your following grow? Like, was there one thing that like really skyrocketed your following, or was it just like slow over the course of, since you started posting, it just gradually grew pretty steadily?
Yeah, it was a little bit of both. So more recent years, it's been like steady growth where it's like kind of like not one thing is causing it, but like early days, I was doing a lot of like myth busting.
Yeah.
And those always just go so viral, but you, as much like when things go viral, you get so much hate because you have like like the things that you're talking about, you have
That's what I
diehard
wanted to
fans.
ask you about.
Yeah, you know, so like early days I was doing like a lot of like, oh, do you think this is a healthy brand that you love so much? Well, it's not, you know. And then people are like, that's my favorite brand, and you're like, well, it sucks. And then you're just arguing with people all day. But that I'd get like hundreds of thousands of views on that stuff, and you get like a lot of people following you because they're like, give me more, give me more. Where now I don't like to do as much of that. Like I do it here and there, like I'll sprinkle it in, but it's like I don't want to like get people on that fear train anymore. Like I want more sustainable things. Like I do call out brands to this day because there's just some like blatant stuff where you're just like, okay, this is ridiculous. But early days, every day I was like, this brand sucks. Like throw it in the garbage, you know. Where now I'm like, okay, let's just like let it like finish it and then like find something else, you know?
Yeah.
Growth.
Now you're like
I'm in my 30s
about
now.
it.
Like
Yeah.
I can't just be like all the time, like arguing with people.
It's like the term like clickbaity for a reason, though. You know what I
mean?
It
does well. I mean,
it does
obviously.
well.
Yeah.
And it's because people do feel passionate about this stuff. I always laugh at like how, I'll even catch myself with certain things. I'm like, oh, I have to get rid of that. Like I didn't even think of that. Like we were talking about spray tans before we started recording, and I'm like,
oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I never even thought about a spray tan. I hadn't gotten one so long. And I'm like getting ready today. I'm like, I stink.
Yeah.
Like, why do I stink? And it's like, usually I don't even like, if I forget to wear deodorant, I don't even notice, right? But you're like, oh, that's really taxing my system.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like all over your body too. So it's just like...
Yeah, literally every inch. Like, I'm completely covered.
Literally every inch.
Okay, great. But it is. And like, as soon as you walked in, I'm like, okay, what should I do for a spray tan in the future? Because it's like, I like to get a certain amount of sun time and vitamin D, but like... Yeah,
sometimes you just need a nice, flawless... one color tan, me, I'm like a blotchy sun tanner because I can't sit still, so I'm red in my shoulder.
I don't have the patience.
I just don't have the energy.
And it's like sometimes there's an event, like you just want like an even color,
flawless.
So we got to find the healthiest version, because there's probably not. It's probably best to do nothing, but the next best thing to nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like lower. I always tell people, it's not a non-toxic lifestyle. It's a low-tox lifestyle, because you can't avoid everything, like it's just impossible. Like the air we breathe, the water we drink, everything. You can't control what people spray on their lawns. I'm like, people are like trying to make me afraid of like walking my dog, because you're like, the glyphosate is going to be on his paws. I'm like, shut up. Can I just enjoy a walk with my dog?
Yes.
Like there is a lot of stuff. I'm like, I can control what's in my house.
Yes.
I can't even control the house unless I built it myself, right? Like,
literally.
There's only so many things you can control. So I'm like, you know what I can control? My own reaction to things, the food I eat, and the stuff that I use, right? Like I can control my skincare. I can control the foods that I'm consuming, and that's it. And like, that's what I worry about. Everything else, I don't give a shit. If that's what kills me, put on my gravestone. I always tell people that. I'm like, if it's the glyphosate on my neighbor's lawn, make sure you put on my gravestone so everybody knows, that this actually did kill me. Like, it's just like a little too much sometimes.
It is. Like, you really can drive yourself nuts. It's like, okay, so I'm just supposed to live in like a log cabin that I build myself in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like and still, like, when it rains, I'm getting
and
chemicals,
the chemtrails,
right?
Exactly. It's like you can never win, like literally never win. So I'm like, what I can control, I do. What I can't, whatever. Like,
you just do the best.
It's all about toxic burden, right? Like our bodies can only handle so much, and it can handle like low things to like a certain extent, right? But if you have your detox pathways and they're open, and you're doing, amazing treatments, and you just take care of that resilience,
right?
You're better off than like 99% of people, because I just like saw a stat the other day, and it was like 90% of people over the age of 65 will have at least one autoimmune condition. 90%. That's most of us.
That's crazy.
That's at least 3 of us in the room right now. That's crazy to think about. And at least one at 65. Most people don't even, that's before retirement.
Right.
So you're not even getting to enjoy.
65 isn't old anymore.
Yeah. I know. Like I look at my mom's only 50. My dad's like 60, like in his 60s. I'm like, I can't even imagine. Like, so that like most of us, if we don't do something radically different with our health right now, we're going to end up being that 90%, which is a lot. And I hope to see that way lower in the future. That's a long time. That's a lot of people to live the last, 20 years of your life in just miserable, like,
Yeah. Shameless plug for an EBO2 treatment here at Pure Form too. It's like a blood filtration, ozone and oxygen. We talk about it all the time, but it's one of Dr. Parita's main treatments that he recommends to people exactly for that reason. Because there is so much, even when you are living the cleanest lifestyle you can, there's so much that we're all exposed to on a day-to-day. And it's, if you can just lower the toxic burden on your body, will just do yourself so many favors. And someone like him, he just turned 75. I don't think he's on one medication.
That's rare. I'm right.
Oh my God, it's so rare. Rare. He's probably in like the 5% of people his age who's not on one medication. Like, it's crazy. Okay, our last thing I want to do with you is like a little take or leave game.
Okay.
Because even just as I was thinking about having you on today, I had, like I said, I had so many things that I was like, oh, I wonder what she thinks about this or that. So we'll just do a handful of them.
Okay, let's see.
But how do you feel about like the prebiotic, probiotic sodas on the market, like the Olipops and Puppies?
Yeah, I mean,
and
I
all
love
those?
an Olipop, but I think if that's where you're getting your fiber from, probably not best. But I think it's like a much better soda alternative. You just have to be like conscious of it, you know? Like I love an Olipop. Like if I have a barbecue with my friends, like that's usually what I'm drinking, but it's not like this is where I'm getting my 9 grams of fiber for the day. You know, like it's a soda, still a soda.
Yes.
But I love like the alternatives that are coming out because they're good options for people. I'd rather that than like a sucralose can of soda or aspartame junk, you know?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I feel like that's one of those things where it's like the balance. It's like you're not drinking.
It also depends who you ask. I hear people like never drink a
day.
soda ever. I'm like, okay, like relax.
Exactly. And it's like, you don't need to drink one every day. But like you said, it's like a nice, even like it's almost like a mocktail option. I do the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
If I don't want to have a drink, I'll like bring a little Olipop with me or something.
That's literally how I am.
Okay, cool. Glad you agree. How do you feel about like a water fast, like to detox?
No. I don't like fasting at all.
Okay.
Like we already fast, especially for women's health. It's just so important. Like we already fast overnight, you know, and that's like the most, in my opinion, the most important time to be fasting.
Yeah.
Just don't eat really late and don't, you know, like you should be waking up and like immediately be hungry.
Right.
If you don't have that hunger cue, you're working off of stress hormone. And I think what I'm seeing with a lot of women is that they're undernourished.
Yeah.
So going that further route to undernourish yourself even more by not consuming any food is exacerbating a lot of the issues that a lot of women are having with their energy and with their metabolism. So I'm all about intentional nourishment to help your body detoxify better, which is going to be those healthy fats. It's going to be root vegetables like beets and getting blood flow and lymphatic drainage. Like those I think are better for women's health versus not consuming anything. And again, that's like a topic where people are like so 50-50 on it.
Yeah.
That's just like what I've seen when people ask, like women are already barely wanting to consume calories. And then we're like, you know what's even better? Starving. You know, like it just kind of feels like unnecessary. And again, like what I have seen with women is just we are so undernourished, you know, in the wrong way.
I totally agree. Yeah. Especially for like reproductive age women.
For sure. You need fat and you need a little bit of fat on your body too. Like we cannot be, but like, like the water fast, most people also, they go on a fast and then they go back to eating it how they were eating before. So it's like you're doing nothing for yourself. But I think if we can incorporate foods on a daily basis that are helping with our detoxification, like I'll do a cup of beet juice and I try to incorporate like a lot of root veggies into my diet for like liver and like raw carrots for, you know, estrogen, detoxing estrogen. And like if we can do little things like that, lymphatic drainage and sauna, those things are more important for detox versus like you have to make it a lifestyle, right? We can't just do these like one-off juice cleanses and water fasts.
Yeah, totally agree. How do you feel about like fitness wearables, like a Whoop or an Oura ring? Oh, you have your Oura ring on. I love my Oura ring. Okay, cool.
It really depends on you. Like some people are really like, oh my God, it gave me so much stress. I like having like certain markers for myself. I like knowing like, cool, what is my sleep? How can I optimize? Yeah, I think it's up to you, but I love my Oura ring. So
cool. Yeah, I'm the same.
Pry it out of my cold dead hand. Yeah, I love my Oura ring.
That's how I feel. Whenever I'll like accidentally leave it on the charger or something, and I like wake up and I'm like, oh, I feel like that was a good night's sleep. I know.
I went for such a long walk the other day. Like my parents are in town, so we took them to get gelato. And we went for like a long walk. We were probably like from the gelato spot all the way to the beach and back. So, and I didn't have my Oura ring. I was like, damn it, how is it going to know I'm healthy? You know, like all these, like, I like it. I like knowing, you know, and I'm not like, sometimes I don't even check it. Like I'll go like a week not even checking it. Yeah. And sometimes like, oh shit, I actually got good sleep this week. Crazy. Yeah. You know,
but it's fun. Or like to not like sometimes when you are having a day where you're like,
like, is there some science behind this? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you look back and you're like, oh, I woke up 14 times last night. Yeah, something I did.
Yeah. That you don't even
did
know
not
that you
agree
did.
with me. Yeah. It's like kind of nice to have that extra, I don't know, that extra data.
It's information. And I like that also it tracks like your cycle and stuff. So you're getting your like hormone, like your basal temperature. So like that helps. I really like the stress one. Like stress is really big for me. So I like knowing ways to optimize. It has like the meditation option. So it's like, oh, you're extra stressed today. Like try this meditation. Like I love those things. I think it's really helpful. But I know people are like, I hate my R-ring. It's so stressful. It's like, if you see it like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally
if you
depends
see it
on
as like
you.
a power move, then good for you. Optimize. Like I'm all about optimizing, right? We have one life to live.
Yep. And it's all personal. Everything we're talking about, it's all personal.
Exactly.
Okay. This one's a little more controversial. How do you feel about like medical marijuana?
Yeah, I hate marijuana.
Cool, me too.
I hate it.
Same.
I just think there's so many other ways to help. And a lot of the, like, I love Dr. Amin.
I was just about to say, do you know Dr. Amin? Yeah.
Yeah, Amin. He's just like what he's seeing in real time, what it does to the brain. And he's like, some of the worst brains he sees are people on marijuana.
Yep.
And I just think the system has failed people that deal with chronic pain and chronic illness. And we're like, let's do marijuana, you know? And it's just like, and to me, I'm also just against smoking and inhaling anything into your lungs.
Yeah.
So it's like just that act in general. I'm like, that in general, even if it's rolled up grass, like it's toxic and you're ingesting it into your lungs.
Yep.
And people are like, well, the pros outweigh the cons. I don't think that. I really don't.
No, I don't either.
Think that at all. So the same way I feel about alcohol, the same way I don't think there's any type of moderation with it. And I think we're just doing people a big disservice with medical marijuana.
Yeah, I think it's scary that it's, that it is positioned. Like it's one thing similar to alcohol. It's one thing to know I'm doing something that's not good for me. It is not serving my health. If I'm choosing to do that for my own enjoyment, that's your choice.
I mean, I know people like in my life that been smoking for years, and it's so funny because my husband and I will like say this, and I'm like, the people that I know that smoke, like even outside of medical marijuana, they just like smoke for like anxiety or whatever.
Yeah.
They're some of the most anxious and irritable people that I know.
Yes.
So I'm like, do you actually think it's actually helping you? Like there's so many other things like trauma that people store in their tissue that that's probably what they actually need is a trauma release, or like mineral deficiencies that we see in the brain. The brain is also like works on fat. What's your diet like, So many other things I think we could be doing besides, having people on marijuana.
Yes. And so many, like they say it's not addictive. It is.
It's addictive.
It's fully addictive.
Tell somebody to get off.
Right.
I could get off anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, so do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we all know those people, and like so many of the people who do reach for it regularly have an underlying chemical imbalance, brain imbalance. And it's like, it's just masking that. And then like I have a family member who like it caused major brain damage because of like what they went through after smoking so much.
It's horrible.
And it's just, it's definitely like a hot topic for me because people will ask like, oh, do you do any medical marijuana here at Pure Form? And I'm like, no,
there's so many other things we could be doing.
Never will. Like it is not supportive to anyone's health.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
All right, cool. This one's also controversial, kind of a similar lane. I took a controversial route on this game today. Psychedelic assisted therapy. So like psilocybin, or I don't know if ketamine falls into this category, and it's like, I'm not really like an expert on this. So that's why I was interested.
I mean, so I don't know much about ketamine, but I remember going to it was like a live podcast of a psychologist who's been working with people who struggle with severe traumatic depression. Is a psychologist out of, I think, LA or California, somewhere in California. And he was saying what we're seeing with microdosing specifically is that unlike SSRIs, you get off an SSRI, you kind of revert back to how you were feeling previous.
Right.
Or with microdosing, we're actually seeing like new transmitters being developed.
Formed.
And it's actually changing how people are thinking moving forward.
Yeah.
So he's actually seeing a lot of people with like severe depression like have such an amazing response to it. So that's all I know, like what I've seen kind of in that 1 hour session that I did. I've kind of done like a little research outside of that, but it seems like a more like reasonable approach outside of like SSRIs. But I think like any external drug that we're trying to take for something else, I always think that there's so many other routes that we can take before we get to that point. You know, like that's just how I feel about most things. Like that's how I feel about IVF and even like all these weight loss drugs and like all these things that are happening. I just feel like there's so many other things that we could be addressing before we get to that point where you have to take something to feel a different way. But I think what he was explaining with psilocybin and just like microdosing is that people are able to get off and stay off, which is interesting. So that could be even supportive for, when he was kind of even mentioning like postpartum depression, which is like a short period for many women, a couple months like after birth. Like I know that a lot of postpartum depression is one, hormonal, but also like major mineral deficiencies that are happening post like pregnancy, but with very severe depression where you can't even function, you know, to take care of your child more or less yourself. Could this be something that's more helpful than an SSRI, which is numbing you during a time where you need to be very present? Right. So like I think about those situations where it could be supportive for a short period of time. Especially if we're seeing that you can get off and you don't have to go back on.
Yeah, I love hearing that.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Not a doctor. I have no idea, but that's what I heard from a doctor, so we'll see.
Yeah. Right? No, I would love, I'm like, I need to get an expert on this.
I need to try some. That'd be interesting to see.
Hopefully not, but but you never know. And it's like, I would love to get an expert on to learn more about that. So if any experts are listening, hit me up.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Our next one is Reiki and energy work. Oh, yeah. Have you ever done Reiki?
I have a couple times. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you have to be really open-minded when you go into like that, like otherworldly stuff. But I've had like really good experiences with it so far. Obviously, you have to really trust who you're going to, not just like some rando.
To a good person.
Yeah. And like someone you really trust. I've done a couple of sessions with Reiki people. I had like a really good experience. I don't know. I'm like, I'll say yes to pretty much most things. Yeah. Like, so I'm always like, yeah, sure, we'll try it. And most of the time I end up liking it. So that's like something, I don't know if that's like a part of my like daily routine or like weekly or getting it routinely, but it's definitely something I'm like, when I feel like I'm having a little bit of stuck time, like emotionally. Yeah. I've found that Reiki does help me kind of bring me to that next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that. So.
Yeah. I treat it similarly. I've gotten it a few times. Same thing. I had a practitioner who I really trusted and liked, and I've always had really positive experiences. I don't do it regularly.
Yeah, it's something that I do every now and then.
Yeah, it's like probably once every 6 or 8 months. Yeah, but it's fun. And the one I go to is like, she's actually clairvoyant too, so she gives you like a little psychic reading with it. It's fun. Like it's always just like a fun experience.
Right? Yeah, and you don't like, especially people who can like see things in your future and or talk to people. Like on the other side, like I always just take things obviously like with a grain of salt, but sometimes they really be shocking me. I'm like, how do you know all that? Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. I love a medium experience. How do you feel about the concept of eating for your blood type?
You know, I have seen that, and I feel like maybe there is like some truth to it. Yeah, but I just feel like we're just made to eat just like real food. Like it doesn't have to be like that complicated. Like I've seen people like come to me with like, they're like, my blood type doesn't like red meat, and I'm like, what? Like you should probably be eating red meat, you know, like you should probably be eating eggs and all these other things that it said you shouldn't be eating. I don't know, I never tried it, so I feel like I just don't abide by diet. So every time I hear like eat like this or eat, I'm like, whatever, like I'm just gonna eat real food. And
once again, it's like, if you feel great when you eat red meat, eat it. If you don't
yeah, that's how I feel about like most things. Yeah.
Okay, my last one is non-toxic perfumes.
Yeah.
Do you like them, or do you feel like all fragrance is
No, I think there's a lot of great brands today that are making like non-toxic perfumes, right? Like we have to just be so careful. I do have like a couple like linked like on my like in my bio, because I'll like people are always asking me about perfume. But yeah, I just think that you have to be like, I always look for brands that actually disclose like what the fragrance is made out of. If it just says fragrance and then it says like made with clean oils, you're like, what does that mean?
Right.
Like always that's going to like, and also like the quality of the brand, right? Like if it's a brand that's like making like sugar cookie body wash, maybe like where are they getting that from?
Right.
You know, like there's no sugar cookie tree that I know of. So it's like, where are they getting that fragrance from? Just like realistic. Like usually if it's like a natural brand, the scents are more of like a natural-esque to it.
Right.
So it'll be like a jasmine or like a musk or like a vanilla. Like it's very something you'd be able to find in nature. So I always just look out for stuff like that, and
Yeah.
like just transparency around the brand. But they do exist. There's great brands out there.
Yeah. I think one I've been using is called like Henry Rose. Have you seen that
Oh yeah,
one?
yeah. Henry Rose is one. I use like a brand called like Skylar. There's a brand out of Australia called Vahi. They're like more, I call it like more of like a luxury perfume.
Ooh, okay.
Very like if you want like a splurge perfume, like I think I bought it for my wedding day because
Oh,
I wanted
okay.
like, I wasn't gonna buy like
Vahi?
Chanel,
Right.
you know, it's all toxic crap. But I bought, it's called Vahi, and it's like $199 bottle or something crazy.
Okay.
But it's like, it actually smells like like perfumes you would kind of recognize, I feel, but very natural.
Well, I'll have to look for that one.
Yeah, it's good. Australian brand. They have like a nice little set that you can get. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, those are like a couple that I could think of off the top of my head that are good. Oh, SS New York makes nice like roller balls, sprays, men's cologne. Jack Henry makes the most amazing men's cologne. So Father's Day coming up.
I saw you carry Jack Henry on Healthillie, right? Okay.
My husband uses their cologne, and it's like the best cologne
Ooh.
like ever, and it's they care a lot about the ingredients that they put in, and
Ooh,
so
okay, I'll
it
have to
smells
get that
absolutely
for
like, it'll transform like any guy who's like, I'm not using a clean cologne, into a clean cologne user. Like that's what it is. It's
just
like,
don't tell them.
yeah, they wouldn't even know, honestly. Pour it into like
Well, like I feel
Sauvage bottle or whatever.
I feel like the Jack Henry, but like their packaging is nice.
No, it's so nice. It's like a
yeah.
beautiful black bottle, like clean. Yeah, it's honestly beautiful. Like my husband smelled it. He was like, he's like the biggest skeptic to this stuff, so he's like perfect to try stuff.
Yeah,
especially my brother too. Like he's such a like just doesn't even wear anything. He's like, whatever, like 5-in-1 shampoo, don't care. So like when he tries stuff and he likes it, I'm like, okay, I know this is good, because he's like so picky. So he's obsessed with it. It smells so good. I even love the smell. Like when I smell it, I'm like, oh, it reminds me of like the colognes we wore, like we used to wear when like we first met.
Yeah.
So it's really good, really clean. So Jack Henry is great. Henry Rose is another great brand. You can find them like at Sephora too.
Yeah.
Sephora has like hit or miss with stuff, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I love your content when you're like, when you look at the brands that Sephora deems clean.
Yeah.
And you're like, because some of them yes, some of them no, right?
Yeah, it's so hit or miss. And sometimes it's like one product and then the rest of the line is garbage. Like it's so, I don't know what they're doing over there. It's not good.
They should hire you.
I know, right? Hello, call me somewhere.
Thank you so much for coming today. I learned so much. I'm sure we could do a whole second episode just diving more into anything, honestly. Everything. I know I'm like fertility, food, products, specifics. So
this is great. Thank you so much. It's so much fun.
Yeah. This podcast was brought to you by Pureform, a comprehensive wellness center in Boca Raton, Florida. The website is pureformhealth.com, or you can find us on Instagram at pureformhealth. Feel free to message us with any questions, and note that you can connect with our providers for consultations over Zoom, from everything from stem cell therapy to hormone replacement therapy and peptide therapy. That's it for this episode of the Healthspan Collective. We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, we'd love for you to rate, review, subscribe, and send it to a friend. We'd also love to connect with you on Instagram. Follow the podcast at Healthspan Collective and me at Nicole J. Doran. And leave us a comment on our latest post, letting us know what you'd like us to cover next.